Hey everyone out there in vinyl community land. This is Mark and I'm high again on another vinyl crush. Today we're celebrating Guz69. Great name. What is it about that number? Anyway, Guz is celebrating 200 subscriptions and he's going to do that by having a contest. So check out Guz. Guz69. Guz69 is from Brazil. He has a great channel. He's a very warm person, lots of interesting music. So check him out, subscribe, and the contest that he's doing to celebrate 200 subscriptions is basically, he calls it Versions, Drummers, and Creatures. And so what I'm responsible to do for this is to show you 10 albums. The first 4 albums are basically an original song and its cover times 2. So there's 4 albums. The next 3 albums are albums by a drummer who's played in 3 different bands. So I have to show you 3 different albums from 3 different bands with 1 drummer. And the last one is albums that have creatures on the covers. So let's have some fun with this. I'm going to start first with my first original, Harry Nilsson Schmielsen. The song is Jump Into the Fire. This album also has the song Without You, which is a huge hit. Lime in the Coconut, another huge hit. One of my favorites is Early in the Morning, a great blues song. I love this album. The cover, very unusual. This is Psychic TV. If you're not familiar with them, they're an acid house industrial rock, experimental rock band out of England, headed by Genesis Peorage, and the cover they do of Jump Into the Fire is interesting. So the next original that I have is the Chambers Brothers, The Time Has Come. Great song. I grew up listening to this song. If you haven't heard it, please check it out. You'll love it. It's a really good song. The Time Has Come by the Chambers Brothers. And the cover that I have for this was a surprise to me when I heard it on the turntable one day. We were playing this album and I was like, oh, I know this song. This is Dead Moon. They're a punk rock, garage punk band out of Portland, Oregon here. And their version of this song is kind of like if you could imagine AC/DC back when they had Bon Scott singing with them. And it's kind of like that early AC/DC singing Time Has Come. Great song. So next we have the drummer. So I'm doing Terry Bozzio. Terry Bozzio, like in the last 5 years, he's been doing solo drum shows. He actually goes out on tour with a drum set bigger than this living room. And all the drums are tuned in scales so he can play harmonies and melodies and rhythms all going at the same time. And he does a solo show. It was amazing. I've seen it twice. I don't remember who he started out with, but the first band I saw him with was Frank Zappa. Zoot Allures. This is in 1975, and at that point, he must have been 25 years old. He was a very young person, naive. How he ended up auditioning for Zappa, I don't know, but Zappa loved him, and Zappa is so picky about his musicians. If you want to see what he was doing with Zappa, if you just Google Terry Bozzio, Zappa, and drum solo, and he just kicks ass. It's just so fun to watch him. He's just so energetic and vibrant. You could also see him in his current stuff with the big drum set on YouTube as well. The second album I have with Terry Bozzio, he played with Jeff Beck in Guitar Shop, and they won a Grammy for this. I think it was 1990, so he has a Grammy for Best Instrumental rock album. Great album, really fun music. I love Jeff Beck too. And then I have a more recent one. This is 1997, I believe, although the vinyl, that was in CD. The vinyl didn't come out until like 2014, I think. And this is Bozzio, Levin, and Stevens. So Tony Levin played with Peter Gabriel, a number of other people. Steve Stevens started out, we know him from Billy Idol. And Steve Stevens is an incredibly underrated guitar player. And he really shines on this album. Terry Bozzio on drums. Great album. Love this album. And it's more like a prog rock, really pretty interesting prog rock. So check it out. That gets us to Creatures. And this is the highlight of the show, right? So my first Creature Roky Erickson. He was with the 13th Floor Elevators back in the mid 60s, late 60s, and then he did some solo stuff. I'm going to hold this up. You can see on the album cover, there's a head split open, and there's this creature coming out the middle of it, and it looks like a Godzilla or something like that, with teeth. And so that's my first creature. And I think also that this should get extra points because on this album, almost all the songs are about creatures. There's I Think of Demons, The Two-Headed Dog, I Walked with Zombies, and Creature with the Atom Brain, all these weird songs about creatures on this album. So extra points for that, I hope. The next one, the Dixie Dregs, Dregs of the Earth. Those are some interesting little creatures, those dregs of the earth. And Steve Morse, guitar player on this album. This is Southern prog rock. Great stuff. This is 1980, I think. I saw these guys live in 96 and they blew my mind. My favorite song on this album is probably Twigs Approved and Hereafter. Really good songs. Highly recommend this album. The last album I have for you is the Randolph Singers' Christmas Carols. So a lot of the traditions that we consider to be Christmas traditions are actually borrowed from the pagan traditions that were there before and sort of integrated into to sort of get rid of paganism and create the Christian identity. So things like the Yule log, the Christmas tree, mistletoe, the laurel wreaths, those are all pagan traditions that existed before we actually celebrated Christmas. And so it's interesting to me that this early Christmas Carol album has pagan images on it, and I'm going to hold that up closer for you. You can see these sort of human figures with animal heads on them, very pagan. Take a nice look at that. And my favorite song on this album is None of Them. The Randolph Singers could not have sucked more soul out of Christmas than they did. This is the most soulless, most joyless Christmas Carol album I've ever heard. But look at that cover. Wonderful. So that's all I have for you tonight here. And please, I want to shout out again to Guz69. Thanks for doing the contest, giving us an opportunity to show our records. And also just thanks because you have a great channel. So everybody, please check them out. And if you like what you see here tonight, please subscribe here, ring the bell, and then you'll get notified when my videos come out. And give it a like if you like it. It's great hanging out with you tonight. Have a nice evening.